right, looks like we are live. So I know that if you follow me on Twitter, I announced that I was going to be streaming at 6:30 tonight, and it is currently 6:20. I thought this would be a good time for me to review the chapter that came out today because honestly, I don't want to wait any longer to read it. It came out while I was on my lunch break at work today, and I just like kind of skimmed through it to see if it was something that I wanted to talk about, and I was like, yes, absolutely. So, what I'm going to be trying to do is actually read the chapters live when they come out and then post my reactions on the spot and then any connections that I might make or thoughts about the chapter. I thought that would be pretty cool to do on the channel. So, I'm just going to kind of try it, probably change some stuff with upcoming chapters, but it's been such a long month waiting for this chapter. I really couldn't wait. So, I'm just going to jump into it. I've got the chapter pulled up here. Of course, I will always say support the official chapter release if you can on Shonen Jump, which releases on Sundays. So it is not Sunday. Anyway, chapter 1072, The Weight of Memory. And on the cover page, we see a young Caesar Clown with what looks like to be Vinsmoke Judge and Queen doing some science shenanigans. And I'm noticing a very particular cloud pattern around Caesar Clown that we've seen on some of our awakened guys. Could he be awakened? But yeah, it looks like they're just doing some science stuff, mass producing deadly weapons. Notice that Vegapunk is not present in this image, which I think ties back to him being very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not condoning the evil mad science that they were up to. I've been loving this chapter cover story series, so can't wait to see how that one wraps up. Let's see. Yeah, and there's this monologue that when I was reading it earlier today, looks like it is talking about Bonnie at first, but with what we find out at the end of the chapter, seems like that is not the case. But I think it's interesting. Even if the world does not accept how she came to be, the girl is unmistakably human. It was a success. I bear witness to this achievement, and I maintain that it is a huge step toward world peace. Dr. Vegapunk, Chief of Mad's Laboratory of Peace. But yeah, I think that's kind of interesting, because obviously the girl is unmistakably human, and then the next thing we see is a little girl version of Bonnie. So we would think, oh, this is Bonnie... that they're talking about here. And I love seeing her powers in action. She's young. No, now she's old and scary, distorted future, and just beats the crap out of Vegapunk here. What is that called? Timely Thrust. And honestly, I always read these chapters like 3 times anyway, because the translation difference. I love to see what the official translation says, so I'm going to be reading this again in a couple days. And I like what Vegapunk says here, that these shiny doodads are a manifestation of the years that I just lost. Yeah, him being just a tiny child is so adorable. I love this baby Vegapunk, Baby Punk. And finally, I feel like for like 7 chapters, we've been seeing Bonnie just like so vehemently chasing after Vegapunk. Like, tell me what's going on with my dad. And I feel like we're finally about to get that now, as we see Kuma climbing the red line. I promised Kuma that I would keep a secret from you no matter what. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, but I feel like we're really about to see a very tragic death with Kuma. The whole town is attacking him. Kuma's an incredible man. I've always been proud to call him my close friend. Please, I can't say anything more on the matter. And all the Marines are just letting loose on this dude. Yeah, don't go over there. Don't go over to that door clearly marked Kuma stuff. It's not what you think it is. And this panel is so dope with Bonnie just staring down the paw. It takes me back to Thriller Bark. And I think this is interesting, right? This idea that a person loses 21 grams of mass upon death. That could be considered the weight of their soul. And everything that Kuma has ever felt, his memories are in there. Or at least that's how I'm choosing to read this. But I love this idea that, like, the reason that he's lost his humanity is because he's literally taken it out of himself and put it somewhere. That's such a cool idea. And the first thought that I had when I glanced over this was like, Bonnie is going to take all of that on and find out everything all at once, and it's probably going to be incredibly overwhelming. His memories are here, aren't they? And the last panel that we see of her is her about to touch it with this very somber look in her eyes. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens with that next, man. But then we cut over to the action. The Seraphim are here. You know, the Vegapunks are about to fight. But the enemy's made a serious miscalculation. Now that they're up here, we can turn the Seraphim back to our side since we're the higher in the command hierarchy. And I think this ties in with last chapter. I saw so many people talking about, like, oh, whoever Vegapunk called, could they have been the one that lowered the Stratodome? And it looks like that was the case. So that mysterious traitor, whoever that was, lowered the shields, got the Seraphim to come into the shields, and raised it again. Now the Vegapunks are back in the hierarchy, and the Seraphim are going to listen to them. And I just love this. We finally get to see what awakened Kaku looks like, and he looks scary. He looks like Kaido. The way that the giraffe neck is swirling around like a dragon with the clouds. Nose gun! Giraffe Man Gyro! Oh, that's funny. And I'm surprised that Zoro didn't just, like, one-shot this dude. Lucci, Seraphim, quickly before Vegapunk gets here, destroy the Levostratum. And we see them go for an attack. Oh, that art looks so good. Usopp and Nami. Ah! But then we hear chomp. And who's that biting the giraffe's neck? Lucci, what are you doing? Stussy, you're acting sussy. Who, me? I'm just putting him to sleep. Would you please join him, Lucci? I think it's time for your catnap, too. Clone of Miss Buckingham. Miss Buckingham Stussy of the Rocks Pirates. Mad's first successful clone, Unit 01, Stussy. So, Eobal, this design is so good. I love this, like, succubus vampire thing that's going on. It totally ties in with her being the queen of the underworld, I think is the first epithet that we see associated with her. And the fact that she's involved with the Rocks Pirates is so cool to me. Because this arc, we've been finding out more and more and more about the Rocks Pirates. Slowly but surely, I think we're getting closer to that flashback. Yeah, and, like, the parallels to Robin's Demonio Fleur are just, like, so apparent right now. I wonder if they're going to have an interaction, her and Robin. But the things that jumped out to me about this chapter is, when I was first reading it, I thought that monologue at the very beginning was talking about Bonnie. I'm scrolling back up to it. Even if the world does not accept how she came to be, this girl is unmistakably human. It was a success. I bear witness to this achievement, and I maintain that it is a huge step towards world peace. So could they be talking about Stussy here is the other question. Since she's the first successful clone, to me it seems like they're talking about her. But then that also raises the question of, why is this positioned over Bonnie? Could it be talking about her? Could she also be a clone of maybe a previous Bonnie that Kuma had? That, you know, something happened and he had to clone her, and maybe the original Bonnie is dead or something. That could also be why Vegapunk doesn't want her to find out about this, is that probably wouldn't go over very well. I mean, if I found out that I was a clone of my dead self, I would certainly freak out. But yeah, this revelation of Stussy A being a member of the Rocks Pirates, B being a successful clone, and then C, it seems that she's the favor that Vegapunk called in the last chapter. Ooh, Chidori's here! We're about to stream in a few minutes. I'm just wrapping this up. Yeah, but I am so excited to find out more about this Kuma flashback that seems like we're gonna get probably in the next couple of chapters. And finding out that Bonnie is related to him, getting that confirmation this arc has been so cool, so I'm wanting to see where that goes. It was funny when that chapter dropped, however many chapters ago, I had been going under the assumption that Bonnie was Kuma's dad from when I first read the Reverie, because there's some shot of her, like, saying, oh, I've got to avenge my dad, and then it cuts to him, and I thought, oh, Kuma's her dad. But I didn't even realize until it was confirmed that it was unconfirmed, if that makes sense. But anyway, this was like kind of a last minute plan to read this chapter while I waited for it to be streaming time. And I'll probably do something like this in the future. But I just wanted to make a quick video on me reacting to the chapter as it comes and kind of stream of consciousness thinking about it. But I am just so excited to see where this goes, man. The Stussy reveal and this panel at the end is just so good. I want to jump on my tablet and color it in myself. But I'm just loving this arc. Egghead has been so incredible. It's been like Zoe and Reverie, where it's these really short arcs, but packed in with so much lore. Or at least I'm assuming this is going to be a short arc, since Elbaf is coming up. But anyway, if this is your first time on the channel, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know if you like it. And yeah, what do you think about the chapter? This is insane. I am so excited that I'm getting to do reactions to chapters, because every week for the last, 30 chapters, I feel like I've just been like, incredible. This is it. This is what I'm here for. So yeah, I will catch you guys in a few minutes when I hop on to stream One Piece Odyssey, but I'm going to end the stream and then restart it so that I can have two separate uploads. Anyway, catch you guys around.